Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin with a simple truth. Nothing changes until you do. We all have dreams. We all have hopes. We all say things like, someday I'll do this, or one day I'll have that. But I'll tell you something I learned early in life. Someday is not a day of the week. If you wait for someday, you'll look back years later and wonder where your best years went. You see, the bridge between your dreams and your reality is built with discipline. And the bricks of that bridge are laid day by day. We've all heard it said. It's the thought that counts. But when it comes to your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, that phrase doesn't hold up. In the real world, action beats intention every single time. You can have the best ideas in the world. You can sit around dreaming of a better life, a better body, a better bank account. You can fill notebooks with plans and visions and still stay exactly where you are. Why? Because nothing changes until you do something. Intentions are nice, but they don't move the needle. They don't build businesses. They don't fix your finances. They don't get you up early, and they certainly don't get you in shape. You can intend to start a business. You can intend to eat healthier. You can intend to write a book, learn a skill, or rebuild a relationship. But intention without action is like planting seeds in your mind and never watering them. Here's the truth. You don't get points for almost doing something. There are no rewards for good intentions, only for follow-through, and the reason this is so important is because we often trick ourselves. We tell ourselves that because we've thought about doing something, we're making progress. We say things like, I'm planning to start soon, or I've been researching it, but planning is not doing, research is not execution. Reading a book on fitness doesn't burn calories. Studying business doesn't make you $1. Watching motivational videos doesn't build discipline. All of that might prepare you, but preparation without action leads to stagnation. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against planning. I'm not against learning. But if all you ever do is plan and never take the leap, you're just dressing up procrastination in nice clothing. The winners in life, the people you look up to, aren't necessarily more talented or lucky than you. What they did differently was this: they acted. They didn't always know the perfect way to begin, but they began anyway. They weren't always confident, but they moved forward despite the fear. They didn't wait to feel ready. They got ready as they went, and that's the mindset you've got to build. Every single day, you must ask yourself, what will I actually do today that moves me forward? And not what you'll think about, not what you'll talk about. What will you do? What action will you take today that your future self will thank you for? This is the great separator. Plenty of people are smart. Plenty of people have big dreams. But the difference between the ones who succeed and the ones who stay stuck is simple. Consistent action. Even if the action is small, do it. Even if it feels insignificant, do it. Because small actions done daily compound over time. They build habits. They build confidence. They build results, and once you get in the habit of taking action, something magical happens. You begin to trust yourself. You start believing that when you say you'll do something, you'll actually do it, and that builds a reputation. With yourself, that's self-respect, that's inner power, that's momentum. So don't fall into the trap of living in your head. Get out into the world, get your hands dirty, try, fail, adjust, try again. Progress is messy, growth is uncomfortable, but nothing, absolutely nothing, will move you forward like action. Intentions are easy. Action is rare. Be rare because in the end, no one remembers what you meant to do. They remember what you did. Discipline is often misunderstood. People hear the word and think of restriction, suffering, or punishment. But discipline, real discipline, isn't about denying yourself. It's about honoring yourself. It's not about making life harder. It's about building a life that matters. And at its core, discipline is self-respect. When you choose discipline, you're telling the world, and more importantly, yourself, I am worth it. You're declaring that your future is worth more than your present comfort. You're showing that your goals, your dreams, your values matter enough to act on, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when nobody's watching. Let me ask you something. How do you feel when you break a promise to someone else? Most people feel a little guilt, a little shame, maybe even regret. Now ask yourself, how often do you break promises to yourself? You say you're going to start waking up early, but you hit the snooze. You say you'll eat better, but the junk food finds its way back in. You say you'll focus, but you keep scrolling, and every time you do that, you're silently telling yourself that your word doesn't carry weight. Discipline is how you reverse that. Every time you follow through, even on the smallest task, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted, that you mean what you say, and let me tell you, that inner trust is the foundation of confidence. People chase confidence like it's some magical quality. They think it comes from success, from applause, from having everything together. But real confidence comes from doing what needs to be done, especially when it's hard. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the peace of knowing you've kept your word to yourself. And yes, discipline is hard. If it were easy, everyone would have it. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. It's rare. And what's rare is valuable. Discipline is saying no when everything in you wants to say yes. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. It's getting up when you'd rather sleep in. It's doing the work when no one's clapping, and showing up even when the results are slow. That kind of consistency is what builds excellence. Not talent, not luck, not bursts of motivation. Discipline, daily. Now here's the thing. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's not genetic. It's not for a chosen few. It's a skill, and like any skill, it's built through repetition. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you make that muscle stronger. You make that habit deeper. You make your future brighter. It starts with the little things. Make your bed. Keep your space clean. Show up on time. Finish what you start. These aren't just chores. They're declarations. Every small act of discipline is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. The truth is, a disciplined life is a free life. Because when you develop discipline, you gain control. And control over your actions means control over your results. You're not tossed around by emotion, laziness, or fear. You move with purpose. You live with intention. It's not always glamorous. You won't always feel like it, but the reward is priceless. Self-respect, the quiet pride of knowing you didn't take the easy way, the satisfaction of seeing progress and knowing you made it happen. So the next time you feel like skipping the gym, cheating the diet, putting off the task, pause. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? Then act like it, because every disciplined choice is a brick in the foundation of your character. And over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. So remember, discipline isn't a burden. It's not a punishment. It's a gift you give yourself every single day, and it says, loud and clear, I am worth the effort. I respect who I am and who I'm becoming. That's what discipline really is. And once you truly understand that, everything in your life begins to change. One of the greatest traps you can fall into is waiting to feel motivated before you take action. So many people sit on the sidelines of their own lives, waiting for that magical spark, waiting to feel inspired, waiting to feel energized, waiting for the perfect moment to begin. But the truth is, if you wait on motivation, you'll wait forever. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you'll wake up ready to conquer the world. Other days you'll struggle just to get out of bed. That's life. That's the human experience. But the successful, the disciplined, the high achievers, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on something much stronger. A decision. They've made the decision to act, regardless of how they feel. They've trained themselves to move forward, even when the energy isn't there, even when the mood isn't right. Because they know a secret most people never figure out. Action leads to motivation, not the other way around. You don't need to feel like doing something in order to do it. You just need to begin. Just take one step. The moment you do, something powerful happens. Momentum begins to build. What felt impossible starts to feel manageable. One step turns into two. Two steps turn into a rhythm. And before you know it, you're in motion. And once you're in motion, staying in motion gets easier, you see. Most people think they need to feel inspired before they start, but inspiration is a byproduct of action. It's like starting a fire. At first, all you have is a spark. You've got to work at it, feed it, protect it, give it air. It's only after some effort that the flame catches. That's how motivation works. It doesn't show up first. It shows up after you take that first step. This is why some of the greatest work in the world was done by people who didn't feel like showing up, but they did anyway. Writers write without the muse. Athletes train when they're tired. Entrepreneurs build when the odds are against them. Why? Because they've learned that discipline outperforms motivation every time. Think about it. How often have you said, "I just don't feel like it today"? And what did that get you? Maybe a few hours of rest, maybe a little more comfort, but did it bring you closer to your goals? Did it build your character? Probably not. Now think back to the days you did something even though you didn't want to. Maybe you worked out when you were tired. Maybe you stayed focused when distractions came. Maybe you pushed through when quitting felt easier. Those moments, those are the ones that build something real inside you. They create pride. They create belief. They build grit. The reality is, if you only act when you're motivated, you're surrendering control of your life to your feelings, and feelings are unreliable. But when you act based on commitment, based on a decision you've made about the kind of life you want, that is power. That's freedom. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to blow in the right direction. But winners learn to set the sail, no matter what direction the wind is blowing. They adjust, they move forward, they don't wait. They initiate. You don't have to feel ready, you just have to start. And when you start, something shifts. You begin to prove to yourself that you're not driven by emotion, you're driven by vision, that you're not a slave to your moods. You're the master of your actions, so stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting to feel ready. The perfect time is now, and readiness is a result of doing, not a prerequisite. Start. Move. Take the smallest possible step and keep going. And if motivation comes, great. But if it doesn't, go anyway, because the life you want isn't waiting on motivation. It's waiting on you. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year or in a lifetime. We live in a world obsessed with overnight success, viral moments, quick wins. But the truth, the real victories are built quietly, slowly, day by day. Success doesn't come from one grand gesture. It comes from the accumulation of small, consistent, intentional steps taken over time. It's not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it's the most powerful force you can harness. Steady daily effort. You don't write a book in one sitting. You write a page a day. You don't become strong from one workout. You grow stronger with every repetition, every drop of sweat, every decision to show up. You don't build a great relationship with one kind gesture. You do it with consistent love, presence, and effort. Everything meaningful in life is built by small steps done repeatedly, and the most powerful part, these small steps don't just change your results, they change you. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. One workout might not transform your body, but it strengthens your discipline. One focused hour of study might not make you an expert, but it grows your mind. One day of saving money might not make you rich, but it plants the seed of financial wisdom. You see, the work you do in private, the choices you make when no one is watching, that's where your legacy is born. Not in a single shining moment, but in 1,000 unseen ones. The beautiful thing about small steps is that they compound. They build on each other. One good decision leads to another. One productive day lays the foundation for a productive week. One disciplined action builds the muscle of consistency. Over time, these tiny actions don't just add up. They multiply. That's the secret most people miss. They quit because they don't see quick results. They give up after a few days, a few weeks, because the payoff isn't instant. But success, real success, is like planting bamboo. You water it for years before you ever see it break the ground. But when it finally does, it grows rapidly. That's what happens when you stay faithful to small daily actions. The growth is slow at first, but when it arrives, it can be massive. Let me tell you, the path to greatness is built on boring days. It's built on ordinary routines, executed with extraordinary consistency. It's the choice to show up again and again, to wake up early, to plan your day, to do the workout, to make the call, to write the page, to read the book, to speak kindly, to act with integrity, even when no one notices, because one day someone will notice. One day the results will speak for themselves. One day the fruit of your labor will show. And when that day comes, it won't be luck. It'll be legacy. You'll look back, not at a single defining moment, but at thousands of tiny decisions that shaped your life. And you'll realize this is how it's done, not by magic, not by massive talent, but by daily, intentional, repeated action. So if your goal feels far off, good. That means it's worth chasing, but don't try to leap the whole distance. Just ask yourself, what small thing can I do today to move 1 inch closer? Then do it, and do it again tomorrow, and again the next day, because every small step matters. Every small step is progress. And every small step taken with purpose is laying the foundation for something that will outlast you. That's how a legacy is built. Not all at once, but one step, one choice, one day at a time. So as you walk away from this message, remember, you don't need to do it all today, but you do need to do something. The dream is real, the goal is possible, but only if you're willing to meet it with action, discipline, and daily commitment. Force yourself to take action, day by day, not because it's easy, but because you respect yourself enough to grow, because you know your future depends on what you do now. So get up, show up, take that step, and keep going. Your legacy is waiting. Thank you.